Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Empress Aries 888. My name is Tanya. Well, please, like on the way in, gives me an energetic donation to the channel, helps me tune into you. Flip the roles as you see fit. Take what resonates from this reading and leave the rest. And these are timeless readings, my friends. If it's not your reading, it's not your reading, my friends. Sometimes that happens. But what we gotta do today is call in spirit. Let's get this party started, shall we? Spirit guides and angels of your whitest light, please give me a clear message for the collective, one that brings healing, hope, and understanding of their situation. Protect me as I open myself up to channel these messages. Protect my beautiful collective. Amen. All right, how you all doing today? Hope you're doing wonderful. I'm doing this reading on a Sunday, but if it's a Saturday or Friday, there's still relevance because these are timeless readings, as I mentioned. Clear the energy off of these cards. Protect me, protect my beautiful collective, and thank you so much for those that tune in and are very loyal to this channel. I so appreciate you. All right, so let's do some Reiki-esque, as I say, clearing. Gotta love it. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Yeah, feel like a nut every day, baby. And some people would agree. All right, black tourmaline. This is for protection. Protect this space, protect my collective, wherever you may be. I hope it is a wonderful day. Even if it's raining, it's a day in the Lord. What is this? This is the day that the Lord has made. Yeah. It is, baby. Okay. Clear it out with black obsidian. I have this beautiful little labyrinth. Go. There's always some sort of beautiful message, like a message in a bottle. I had a dream the other night, and it was so beautiful. It was me with meeting up with Jesus. I had a dream, man. Met him in my dreams. Always wanted to meet him. Raw selenite. And he gifted me with his presence. And it was a weird place. It was like a place where you travel, you know, a train station or something like that. And I wanted to, like, you know, if you could ask God anything, what would you ask him? Really, when you get to that point where Jesus is not God, in my mind, Jesus is separate from God, but whatever the case is, they say, you know, what if God, that song from, I forgot her name, Joan Osborne, thank you, Spirit. What if God was one of us, just a slob like one of us, just a stranger on a bus? Well, this was like a train station. I met him. Rose quartz, opening up, heart chakra. And I believe this is jade. This is energy, not jade. This is emerald. Or vitality, energy. You don't need that, right? Beautiful. As you all are. Beautiful to me. Anyways, so I was talking to him, or I wasn't even talking to him at the time. He was walking around, right? And then I saw this child on the ground, and the child was crying in the corner, mind you, of this station or whatever, train station. And they were like, I was like bending over, how are you? It's okay, don't cry, blah, blah, blah. And then the child was like, can I come with you? Put his hand out. And that's when Jesus came over. I don't know, and I don't know necessarily if I even seen Jesus. I seen the kid first. And then the kid was crying, and I went over and I said, it's okay, it's gonna be all right. And can I come with you? Yes. And I put my hand out for the child to come with me, and that's when Jesus appeared and said, no, he can't come with you. And I'm like, why? Not everybody can come with you on your travels. And then the child disappeared. They need to learn lessons, is what he said. They need to learn their karmic lesson. And if they haven't, then they have to go back to learn that lesson. And then that's when the child disappeared. And I was walking with him for a while. And I was just like, wow, that's so strange, because it was like something I always wanted to do, is to meet him. And what would I say? And it was like, when you get to that point, sometimes you don't know what to say. It's like I was like, had that opportunity, and I was like, man, there's so many things I could ask him. But it was like, in the end, that was an important message. It was like, not everybody can travel with you on your journey as you ascend. Sometimes you got to leave people behind, or you can't take them with you, is what I'm hearing. Yeah. The wandering path. Okay. It was this dream kind of scenario we're going to do. I have the Sacred Traveler that featuring, and as well as the Dream Keeper Tarot. Beautiful box. And that's the one that I'm featuring today on the channel. All right. So wandering path and far away places. So it says, enjoy the journey, wandering path, as well as get ready for new horizons, and surrender to the journey, release control, and mystic healer. Healing energy flows through you. So this is a healer. You're on a journey. We're all on a journey, right? The fool's journey, as they say, but this is a specific type of journey of discovery, discovering oneself, not necessarily discovering where you belong on this journey called life, because there's layers like an onion, right? You learn one thing, then you got to go back and you learn something else on this journey. The fool's journey never truly ends, because we are always discovering, learning, and growing. But this is a path a person wanted to take or requested. You requested this path. And what is that? There's a saying that's on bumper stickers: not all who journey, something like that. Not all who journey, or not all who wander. Yeah, not all who wander are lost. And that's true. You're wandering away, wandering path, discovering new things. You're a curious person. You have a curious nature. You're manifesting change in your life. And Spirit saying the path is open for that. Maybe you were stuck for one time, or it was only in your dreams that you were wandering. But Spirit was watching and listening and wants to grant you that wish. So the path is open. It's just you need to be brave enough to pass through. The one other thing that I wanted to discuss was something that, religions say, or some people say, is that all roads lead to God. And while that's true, in that dream, or even now, I don't even think it was the dream. I think it was, the answer was when I was saying that to myself out loud. Jesus was saying all roads lead to God is true, but God's not necessarily on that road to meet you, right? He's not going to be standing there in front of you, like at the end of this journey. Not everybody gets that opportunity. Because if we say in the tarot world that energy is precious, right? It's your currency. Well, how much more so would it be for Jesus? So don't always expect to meet him, because not that he's not with you, not that he's not there to guide you, not that he's not there to have a conversation with you. Even Paul, when he was on the way to Damascus, met Jesus, but he didn't see him. He heard his voice. So it's like, it's not always going to be this, here he is at the end of the rainbow, here's, your pot of gold. But he's always there. So you're still going to be getting to that point where you have this enlightenment. Because currency is precious. His currency is much more precious in perfection. Busy person, right? Like I said, I wasn't expected to meet him at the train station, but I wanted to meet him, and it changes your life. Meeting Jesus, it does, and it's like it's just for some of you, you're gonna be like, "You're just weird." Yeah, I am, but I don't care. I'm telling you a truth, and if you don't want to believe me, I really don't give a shit. I'm just telling you. All right, so faraway places you want to travel. Get ready for new horizons, and it doesn't mean you're necessarily going to travel around the world. It doesn't necessarily mean any of that stuff. You could be astro traveling, traveling in the spirit realm, traveling through different time um, portals, right? This is what you, for some person here, you're a mystic healer and you got to surrender. This is what the doors open, spirit saying you just got to walk through it. There's a fear factor here for somebody, but even the bravest people have fear. They just do it anyways. That's what, bravery really is. It doesn't mean you're necessarily not afraid. You just do it anyway. Strength is when you do it anyway, despite the fear, despite the unknown. Spirit, give me some kind of like astrological signs of who this person could be, as well as any advice you might have. Okay. Thank you. Capricorn is here, and 10 is completion. So it's like a new cycle. Achievement. You're achieving something. You're achieving a new level. You completed a cycle. Took a while. Investigate, Scorpio. 8. Looking into it. You've been looking into spirituality. You've ascended, is what Spirit's saying, and you've now mastered this, not mastered the journey, but you mastered a level where you're moving on to a different cycle. Yeah, and this is something's clarified. Something is obvious to you. And I feel like, what is it, 16? If you add it numerologically, it's 7. 7's been a challenge. There's been challenges, conflicts. And it took you a long time to recognize that where you were at was the conflict. How you were thinking in your mind was the issue. You needed to change that. Nobody can, there's not going to be anybody standing on the side of a street with a sign saying, this is the way, or this is what you need to learn. We all need to learn it on our own. And we can be guided in directions, but it's like they say, you can lead a person to water, but you can't force them to drink. A person's journey is individual. Even if you're a twin, your journey is individual. And it's funny because it's like, I feel like that is who was that child, was my twin. I feel like that's what it was. I was crying, wanted to come with me. And they said no, because that person needs to learn. So this is somebody that needs to learn. I couldn't advance with me. Yeah. So maybe that's the situation with you. There's somebody, maybe you're a twin and you're going in a different direction. And I've always said this, and probably will have to continue to say this, because so many people romanticize the twin flame journey, and it is not about union. It is about ascension. It is about triggering each other to change. It's sort of like lighting the match, and the boom pushes the two of you in separate directions, the aftermath of that. And that's what's happening in this situation. Dignified strength. Take strength to be brave. It's not something that everybody has. And I feel like for a long time you weren't strong and you gave in to your weaknesses. But you mastered something about yourself, and you should be proud of yourself. And you've completed a cycle because you did it yourself. Nobody helped you. I feel like a lot of people tried to stop you, but you kept plugging away. And maybe somebody gave you that inspiration, which is good. Good. Excellent. There's a passion you have here. Something that you're creating, maybe art. And that has helped you through a lot of different cycles that you've gone through as far as like difficult situations, not necessarily cycles, but different situations. Like music is to me what art could be to somebody else. Music is so healing and so beautiful that I don't know where I would be in life without music. I swear. I love music. It's gotten me through difficult situations growing up, and it's continued to do so. And I feel like somebody has that. Music, art, something that they work on that gives them inspiration. It not only inspires the person, but it helps them, heals them. You have to walk through that door towards your new life. And you've been programmed in a lot of ways, as we all have, to stick things out, even if they don't look necessarily healthy. Because especially if it's like a family dynamic, stay there, work things out. You have kids. And that is a lesson that people need to learn in life. Not to say let's all mass exodus out of the door and leave our children behind and all that stuff. That's not what I'm saying. But how good of an example are you in a connection where it's toxic, arguing, abuse of any level, mental, spiritual, physical? What are you teaching the next generation, your children, being stuck in an environment like that? They talk about children of divorce and how that affects kids, but how much more so does it affect a family when people stay together when it's so ugly? What does that teach your children? That it's okay. That's what it teaches them. If you're waiting for the answer, the punchline, that's it. It's a far worse situation to stay in a connection that's ugly and violent and manipulative and toxic, because you're teaching your children, even if you say to them, this is not the way to live, no. They're seeing you put up with it. They will do the same thing, and that's how generational curses start. Make no mistake about it. Stayed in a toxic situation for too long. Two of Swords, undecided. What should I do? Dreaming of an opportunity. Nine of Cups, wanting fulfillment in your life, but being empty inside. Settling is what Spirit's saying. Settling for less than you deserve. Giving an awful lot. Queen of Cups is here. Masculine, feminine, it don't matter. Energy is energy when it comes to tarot. You've put up with a lot. Swords is Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Cups is Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer. It doesn't define who you are in the sense, because you could be a masculine with more feminine energy prevalent. And that's not meaning you're not a man. That just means that you have a lot of caring, loving, you're a caring, loving nature, like supposedly the feminine is supposed to be, right? Well, that's just stigma, right? That's just a stigma. That doesn't mean a man can't be soft and loving and gushy inside. It doesn't make you less than a man, but that's the projection that the societal, whatever norms, if that's what you want to call it, say. But you could have that gushiness inside, even though even on the outside you treat yourself like, oh, I'm a man, I'm stoic. You have a lot of love to give, but you haven't received a lot of love. Swords is more like truth and clarity and balance. That's something you've wished for. It's not what you've had in your life. You haven't had this fulfillment. Nine of Cups. Not in the reverse, but it's something you've been wishing for. A change. Like at a crossroads. Should I stay or should I go? The Fates is here. Wanting to grant you your wish. It's funny how when a person makes this wish, they wish in their heart. Like, what is that song from Cinderella? A dream is a wish your heart makes when you're fast asleep. In dreams, you will lose your heartache. Whatever you wish for, you keep. It's like you dreamed for a change, and then it's here and now you're like undecided. That's what happens. But the fates are here to give you that change that you were asking for, that you wanted. It's like you got to have the courage to move. Because it's not offered every day. There's also a time frame on it. King of Swords. This is a person that is honest, balanced. You're at the door, right? Be honest with yourself. Are you happy? You've elevated. King is here. Two of Wands, wanting a new beginning. Maybe even a person in mind. But just a change. I don't know necessarily if you want somebody in particular, but I think you do, because look, Three of Pentacles is here. Somebody you could collaborate with butterflies, right? Beautiful butterflies working together. You want somebody that's going to give you equal reciprocity, not somebody that's going to take. And you've been giving, 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 and never receiving in the same level, not even close. You're tired of that. Five of Swords, feeling stuck, feeling like you have to defend yourself. It's an ugly energy. It's ugly, really it is. And it's like toxic. Devil's here. The codependencies, the validation, like seeking that validation all the time, doing more and more in order to get it, having to do more and more in order to get it, maybe even giving in to arguments and fighting and screaming at each other, and then like the makeup sex, it's not enough anymore. And then also the drinking and the partying, the stuff that goes on that isn't so sweet and nice. Just feeling at the end of all of that empty, lost, not satisfied. That's who I feel this person is today that I'm speaking to. Just very lost inside and very triggered. A lot of things trigger you. Cry. Even if you're a man, you're crying. That's fine. You can cry. Tears are healing. But you feel like angry when you cry because you don't want to be weak. You feel like this situation is making you weak. You're lost in it. You were lost in it for a long time. But you've mastered something, healed something within yourself. And now it's time to go. Spirit, confirm or deny. Spirit, thank you. Thorns. Weathering the challenges ahead will bring in a new and positive future. But the fire, burning through. It reminds me of that. What was that? Sleeping Beauty, where they had to, the prince had to cut through all the thorns and the thickets to get to their princess. Yeah. To get to your dream, what you want, doesn't necessarily have to be a person. It's just peace. It's beyond this thorny, prickly, maybe painful situation. You know you have to go. You just, you know, you want to. But there's a guilt there. There's a guilt there. The world. Be open to new possibilities in all areas of life. But it was in the reverse. You didn't, like, I feel like as much as you dream about something and you wish for something, you're afraid of that something. Maybe that because the world is giving up something in order to get it. You're afraid of what you have to give up, the creature comforts of life that you're used to and that you built up. Material things. Yeah. It says here, 11, flowers. Be generous, success, and emotional fulfillment are yours. You are generous. You do give a lot to the people you love. You don't get a lot in return. Not that we're asking for that. But it would be nice for appreciation and not just thank you and then get the credit card and run. Yeah. One more spirit for this, please. One more on the Five of Swords. Fire. Let go of emotional upheaval and embrace the renewal of the present. And completion. It's in the reverse. This relationship that you're in is over. You're well aware of that. But you're holding back from actually doing it. Maybe you even said it to the person, I'm done. But you keep staying. So how done are you? Right? Because you have children with this person and you're afraid to go. Leave the kids behind to what fate they might have with this person who's unstable, who has addictions. You feel like you're doing your children a favor by staying in this connection because you don't want them to have to suffer with this person. Like you've suffered, you've taken the brunt of it. Maybe even the physical abuse that happens when this person's high on something. You know, they get drunk and they get high and they're coming at you physically and you're taking the beating because you don't want your kids to take it. You see how they are. Their mouth is terrible. They spew all kinds of, sometimes even foaming at the mouth. They're spewing disgusting things to you, calling you all kinds of names. And the children hide and you take the brunt of it because you feel like that's what you're supposed to do. You even have marks on you from this person. You may grab their wrists sometimes and they threaten to call on you. They might have even had legal issues with this person where they've accused you of abuse because they've gone too far and you've left marks trying to hold them from hitting you. And you've gotten in trouble with the law. You know that this is a terrible relationship, but they're playing victim and saying it's you that's hurting them. You're much bigger than this person, maybe physically in stature. So people believe them. Yeah. The Empress is here. An ending. You could be an empress. You have gifts, a knowing. There's somebody that you know that's an empress, that you had an ending with. Somebody you were stingy with, not just monetarily, but time, energy, and effort. Pentacles is Taurus, Virgo, Cap. Somebody that you've seen that's had to defend themselves. Somebody that's strong, you admire this person. Seven of Wands, Aries, Leo, Sag. Yep, strong is here. They have strength. Somebody that you are thinking about nostalgically. Six of Cups, you know this person. Fond of this person. You see them have success and you want that yourself. Maybe that's what's giving you this courage. But you haven't seen this person. It's Hangman. Because you had all these illusions of choices and you didn't choose this Empress. Nine of Pentacles, you knew you would have success with this person. That's what you were dreaming about initially. This is the second time Nine of Pentacles is here. This person's succeeding. You would have had that fulfillment. Sitting back and all your cups being filled, but you restricted yourself. Eight of Swords. And then went into toxic cycles. Devil's here. And all it did was stab you in the back. People and your own choices. This is who you're dreaming of, is this Empress. This is who you're dreaming of. This is the person that's giving you the courage to make a choice. Because you're tired of the life you're living. You love your family, but you hate this toxicity. You wished it would have worked out. Yeah? You want to come towards this Empress. You want to leave a situation quick. The Knights, you're very passionate about this person. But a Knight is in and out energy. It's not something that's sticking. And you don't want to come towards a person like that. You want a new beginning, but you're trying to force the situation. Because you know you broke that person's heart and you broke your own. Somebody was sneaky and deceptive, or you were with this person's heart. You wanted to win at all costs. And you lost, basically. You lost yourself for a time. You want to come quick, but this is a respite time. This is a time to reflect. Virgo energy, the Hermit. This is where the Pentacles is. That you want to collaborate. This is the person you want to, but balance was necessary, and that's why separation was inevitable. You're carrying the burdens of a family, a situation, but a guilt, because this Empress could be the Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Wands too. Yeah, there was a judgment. There was a judgment, and there was a separation between the two of you. Sitting back, you've had a measure of success in your life. Ships not necessarily come in, but you're looking at all the different things that you've accomplished. But it feels like something's empty because something's missing. This person that walked away, that you had to walk away from. Yeah. Yeah. And now you're revisiting it in your dreams. And you're back at that crossroads in the beginning. You don't feel like you have enough. You feel empty. You feel left out in the cold. This person's moved forward. But you want to give them whatever you have, even if it's very little. You want to move on to calmer waters, where somebody would have been supportive and loving, an Empress, every Queen of the deck. A Queen of Wands, sexy and successful. You want that person. Not who you chose. You know that there's victory, there's celebrations, that you want to be with that person. You see this person's generous. Maybe you want to be generous towards this person now. There's victory again. Yeah, you want this life, this Four of Wands, celebrations and holidays, and you see a victory in that. The sun is here. It's illuminating that, maybe in your dreams. The Wheel of Fortune is turning. The fates have said, giving you the green light. It's up to you to walk away from things that no longer serve you. A tower will inevitably happen, changes, right? It's keeping you up at night thinking about it. You're working hard, learning something about yourself is what I'm hearing. And you want to come towards this person, but it's slow moving. It's taking a while. This is your wish fulfillment. This is a person that you want to give love to. Knight of Cups, right? You want to give love to this person. This is the person you love. You know that your ships will come in with this person. And you've hit the Empress stats. Busted up, right? You know there's competition for this person, this Empress, right? You've lived in the illusion and delusions of a long time that you weren't good enough. But the Chariot's moving towards this person. And you want to jump up on that Chariot and come to this person. But you want to come correct because you know that they're an Empress. They're high value. And now you're starting to see yourself in that light, that you are high value, that you have something to offer. Even if it's very little, I feel like you realize that this Empress would take it. They're not about that. Maybe that was your love language, was buying people because they always took. But I know that you feel like with the Empress, they're not about material. It's about substance. And maybe you didn't think you even had that at one time, but I feel like you've elevated. You think more of yourself, and that's why you're in a position where the door is open. And that fate is smiling on you. The Chariot's going to move towards your dream. And that dream is the Empress. A couple more cards, Spirit. So dream big and work towards that. Something is short-term and temporary. Something that was short-term and temporary, you actually made more permanent, which was that relationship that you were in. Yeah. It wasn't meant to last, but you created an extension, right? It was like we're extending the contract a little bit longer. You might have married this person. Yes to any question that you're having, but is it going to be successful? Is something going to happen? The answer is yes, because you want it to be. You are the co-creator of your journey. It's not about where we have no say in what happens in our life. We have a lot of input into what we want. We are the creator of this story. And if you want it to be successful, the answer is it will be. If you're going to be negative about it, then that's what's going to happen too. Raise your voice, say your truth, raise it to the universe. What is it you want? Open your eyes, man. Luck is on your side. But what are you going to be? Strong. And you got to believe that what it is that you want wants you. Okay? Stop thinking positively and stop being negative. And even if you're scared, it doesn't matter. Strength is about being afraid and doing it anyways. All right, let's get one more card here and end it. But you're on the right road and you're completing a cycle. And it's up to you what the next phase of your journey is. Is it going to be closing the door, staying stuck longer, going through that again? Or going through that door, being brave? Maybe giving up something, obviously, because what the world is, giving up something. But what are you going to gain in return? And what example are you going to set for your children, if you have children? Think about that. I am not here to tell you what to do, and I'm certainly not here to, what is it called, advertise divorce or say that divorce is the right way to go. But if you have two roads, right, twice the card has come with a fork in the road. A cycle that's toxic, that is showing your children that it's okay to put up with somebody's abuse, physical, mental, or spiritual. Or, yes, it's going to be difficult to walk away and be separate for a while, right? And have to go through the custody battle and all the nonsense that goes on with that. But just showing your children that when somebody is abusive to you, don't take it. You think more of yourself than that. You do not accept the bare minimum from a person. And maybe it hurts in the beginning for the children to have the separation in the family laws, but they're learning that to be brave is to do things that you sometimes don't want to do. A choice. A choice. Everything's a choice. But you're never going to know if you don't try. So I'm not like I said, advertising divorce. I think that that's like the worst case scenario, but it's like the worst. I always thought that that was the worst case scenario. I did. I always thought that marriage and family and everything was the goal in life, the end all be all. I did. Until you realize that the message you're sending to future generations is that it is acceptable to be abused by a person, to be cheated on, to be disrespected. And whether you say it out of your voice or not, this is not how it is. If they see you going through it and taking it, they are going to do that in their life. You understand? And that is a hard pill to swallow, to walk away. But it's an even harder pill to swallow to stay and take it. Because you are, in essence, imprisoning your kids to a life that you had. And when we are parents, we want better for our children than that. It's not selfish. It's not selfish. Survival, and it's also a loving thing to do to show your children how to live. That's you're an example. If you're putting up with it, you're teaching them that. If you're not putting up with it and you're standing up, you're teaching them that. It's your choice. Philippians 4:8. Think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise. Too many times we think about negative things and we get bogged down by that. God is saying today, think about positive things, things that are worthy of praise, things that are good. And think positively about your choices. If you want to go, don't look at it in a negative way. And if you're not happy in a situation, be honest. Say it. Change starts within, my friends. Wishing and hoping and praying and lighting candles is good, if it's in a good way, obviously. Good to be, manifesting. If you're not working towards it and you're just like wallowing in it, then where's change going to happen? How is change going to happen? Nobody's going to come and save you, my friends. There's no white knight that's coming on a horse to put your life together or to show you the way. You have to be your own savior. You have to be your own hero. What if God was one of us? Just a slob like one of us. Just a stranger on a bus trying to make his way home. We are all on a journey called life. And we are going to fuck it up. That's part of the journey, man. But recognize within ourselves what it is that we need to do to change. Because let me enlighten you, we cannot change another person. Say it again. We cannot change another person. We can only change ourselves. Start today. Thank you so much for joining me on Empress Aries 888. Please like and subscribe and join my tribe because I would love to have you. Till next time, be safe on there, my friends. Bless.